welcome to Day Home Divas. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
And this episode, we are talking to Kris Chisholm, whose son attended Sunvalley Montessori that we talked about last week. Kris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it's nice to be here.
So when did your son first start at Sunvalley?
He started there like pretty young. Like he was in the junior toddlers class when he first started there. And so, I mean, he would have been like a little over a year and a bit, year and a half when he started there. So he was there for quite a long time.
Okay, gotcha.
What were your first impressions of the center?
It's a little bit chaotic. Like when we first brought him there, I mean, he also didn't want to go, but you chalk it up to just separation anxiety and, a new environment, new people. He doesn't want to leave mom or dad.
For sure.
But the reason that we chose it, one, I mean, it was a Montessori, so I didn't really have a great understanding of what that meant at the time, other than education-based, early development childcare. And so because there's, kind of the emphasis on learning, it seemed like a great solution. And it was also in the same building as my business. So it made it attractive that I could, walk down a couple of corridors and go down an elevator and be there,
Oh, exactly. It's super convenient, right?
Super convenient. And over the time that he was there, like we were always filling out incident reports.
Right.
And to the point that you're like, does every other parent sign 2 of these a week, 3 of these a week? Like, this is insane.
Yeah. And it can be overwhelming too, right? When you're first time parent and this is your first time like with a daycare center.
Yeah. And you're like, how is he getting hurt every day this much? Like,
yeah.
What made you decide that on that center for your son, but you said it was in the same building that you worked in? It was convenient, right? And it was Montessori, correct?
It was Montessori. Yeah. So Montessori is for anybody who doesn't know, Montessori is like early development childcare that has an emphasis on education through like play-based toys and activities. And, the thing that I didn't understand is that Maria Montessori, who started that whole movement, didn't trademark, she wanted it to be like an open to everybody.
Right.
So anyone can say they're a Montessori.
Yeah.
There's no criteria. There's nothing.
Exactly.
And so this place is nothing to do with a Montessori. There's no education based. It is just they're using a moniker to attract people.
Exactly.
It worked. I mean, I got duped by it. So.
But so does so many other people, right? Like it's like false advertising almost a lot of the times.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's almost like this abstract concept that's impossible to prove. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You guys aren't actually, what do you do that is Montessori? It's like, well, we got some of the toys. And it's like, well, then you're not really Montessori. And they're like, prove we're not. It's
exactly.
Just, it's this fluid thing that everybody overuses. So that's the first thing to kind of be wary of when you're looking into places, I guess.
Yeah. I always look at it as we use wooden toys versus plastic toys. Seems to be the biggest thing, right?
And you go into this place and they have a giant framed picture of Maria Montessori and, they talk the talk and everything like that. But after being in that place for so long, I can say definitively, like, there's nothing education based.
Yeah. They're good salespeople.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. How was the communication between you and the staff prior to this incident?
Abysmal.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, a very big part, and I mean, we'll get into it, trying to pace everything. A big part of the experience there is how much is not communicated and reframed in very like innocuous ways that, don't raise any alarm bells and just very like, oh no, this is fine. We're working on this. And later you find out it's several layers deeper and far more egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so terrible. I mean, that's part of a daycare center. That's part of their job, right? To make sure that they communicate everything with you. And I mean, it's one thing to not explain, oh, we played with this toy today or played with this toy today. But the important things, that's 100% their job to let you guys know, like to keep you informed of what, if there was an incident or if they didn't even, like if they didn't eat as much as they normally do or whatever, like parents need to know that. That's their job to let you know all that stuff.
Yep, 100%.
Communication is huge.
Yeah. And this facility lacks it on almost every front.
That's so sad.
Was your son at the center when the E. coli outbreak occurred? And if so, was he affected?
The E. coli outbreak affected places that had centrally distributed food prepared. And this place had a kitchen. So, ironically, you felt safer by that concept. But it's what came out later about the food facility, the food preparation facility in the building that became more alarming. And so they got shut down for a different reason. I don't know if we haven't gone through it yet, but.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So the E. coli outbreak, there's like a centralized kitchen that distributes to multiple childcare facilities throughout the city. And that's why it spread. And one of the attractive things about this place specifically was that there was a food preparation kitchen in the building, in the place.
Right. Exactly.
And so they made, fresh lunches there, snacks and stuff like that. And then, essentially the part that kicked everything off, kind of like the catalyst where everything kind of started to fall apart, was when they got shut down for an infestation. And everything came out about that. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. It's gross. It's so bad.
So I mean, I don't know if you want to go through the timeline of kind of how that happened, because the even the communication with the mouse and cockroach infestation was never fully communicated to parents. It actually broke through the news, and so that's how parents found out.
That's awful. So they didn't contact you guys or let you know when you guys picked up or dropped off. They didn't say, hey, heads up, this has been the situation.
No, specifically the way, so just kind of start, because it feels like a natural point to kind of just start into everything. So we'll kind of leave the other allegations for a minute here, but to start everything, we had a lot of reservations and stress about the place already at this point, but they used an app to communicate called Hi Mama. Okay. And so all the daily updates, all of the, itineraries, the schedule for, holidays, days off, professional days, everything like that was all communicated through this app. Right. So I was at work, and through the app, Ezra was there, and the app sent a notification saying, we apologize to all parents. There's we're doing some safety measures and just some work to the building. We won't be able to be open tomorrow. We're very sorry for inconvenience, but we want to make sure that, the place is, and I'm paraphrasing, of course. Right.
But, and I mean, initially that probably felt good that they are given
his mom's very dubious and distrusting of almost any organization that is there to make money. So this text came out, and she messaged and was like, "What the hell is this?" And so my initial reaction was they probably found a mouse or something. Yeah. And holy crap, we have to fix this. Let's close for tomorrow, and we'll bring somebody in.
Exactly.
So no cause for alarm. And truth be told, probably an indicator that, they're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So wrong. And so you kind of balance everything, figure out what you're going to do for the next day, because obviously this is short notice. And
Yeah.
then the following day, another message went out, and it was like the work needed is more extensive than we anticipated. So we'll be closed the rest of the week. We apologize for any inconvenience. We're working with AHS to make sure that everything is up to par.
Right.
Again,
Yeah.
so the mention of AHS, you're kind of, like, well, now I have some questions.
Yeah, exactly.
But nothing further is communicated. And so his mom messaged and was like now I'm alarmed. And
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let's just wait and see. We're working on speculation. I'm an information-based person. I need to see what specifically before I jump to conclusions.
For sure.
And then on the Monday, I was working, and she sent me a page from the CTV website reporting that a inner city Calgary daycare Montessori had been shut down by AHS for 21 violations for mouse and cockroach infestation throughout the kitchen and play areas, including the infant area, toys and everything. And you're just like, and the warnings had been going on from AHS to them for over a year.
Oh my God.
So this isn't the proactive,
Right.
This is a totally different thing. And bad enough that AHS walked in and shut them down, which was never communicated.
Which is tough because from that explanation, it sounds like initially there was just something that came up and they were trying to get on top of it, and from the way they communicated it. But
the framing is always in this, most how can we make this terrible situation the most palatable, communication we can with as much vague information or no information. And so they held a town hall after this because obviously all the parents are alarmed. And I mean, this goes to the larger conversation of in Alberta, there's a childcare crisis. So there's just nowhere to go. And everywhere you go is just, the standard of care is laughable, but that stands to a larger point. So they held a town hall, and I couldn't make it, but Ezra's mom made it. She recorded the whole thing. So we have the audio recording of the entire presentation. And the owner of the place is a guy named Max Nizamov, who, when you listen to it, he is defensive. He blames everybody else. He blames the building manager. He blames everything other than taking any responsibility. And you can hear how alarmed and desperate all of the parents are. And he kind of scoffs at it, and he at points gets just defensive and a little bit frustrated. And he's like, this is not our fault. This is the building. This comes from outside. And they came through, but they knew for over a year. And part of the thing that I find inconsistent is I had the same building manager.
Right, because
when he's saying things and he's saying they're not helpful. We put in work requests. We tell them that, this needs to be done. And then they say, oh, we brought in, Orkin or, said exterminator, and they said the problem is rectified. But clearly the problem isn't rectified because they're still cleaning up mouse crap every day. They're still finding cockroaches. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not proactive. And they're like, well, we never heard anything. We would fill out things and then nobody would come. And that's not the experience that I had with that building manager.
Right. And that's nice that you were in the same building. So you got to basically you can call them out on that, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. So I wasn't there, so I couldn't. It was very frustrating.
No, exactly.
Listen to the audio and just be like, somebody say this. And, but yeah, he's very dismissive of the whole thing. And essentially the parents came up with a list of expectations in order to keep the kids there. But I mean, really, for at this point, their capacity was 148 kids. So for 148 kids, assuming some are siblings or whatever, I mean, there's still hundreds of people, families who are
exactly
like, well, I don't know where else to put the kid. So Candace and I decided, well, what we would do is we would keep him there, but we would make his lunches because we can't trust them.
Yeah.
And we would observe and kind of, do whatever all the other parents were doing and just like, let's see how it goes. Let's see how they're
which is understandable, right? I mean, especially when, like you said, there's a childcare crisis in Alberta. So there's not the spaces, like all of a sudden, all these extra kids flooding out into the childcare market. There's not spaces for those kids. And as parents, you guys have to go to work. So I think you guys did exactly like the best option was to bring your lunch, because as far as you guys knew, it was just the kitchen that had the issue, right?
So while that was happening, Ezra's mom brought her friend to the town hall because she didn't know that there would be people that would watch the kids. And so, Ezra was there. And then her friend observed the kids in the room with the teachers. And she was like, they are very like rude and very, like the way that they talk to and treat the kids was alarming to her. So Candace reports it. And that was very concerning. But like, again, like you're just like, it's just so overwhelming and you don't really know what to do. And you also have to work.
Yeah, so exactly.
Like, okay, like let's just keep watching everything. And then and then a couple weeks later, and while she was at the town hall, she noticed that Ezra's teacher, specifically his favorite, the one that he liked, wasn't there anymore. And she couldn't get an answer as to why. Whereas this teacher, and the school is very dodgy. She's like, they just wouldn't give me a straight answer. She moved on. When did this happen? Like, why weren't we notified that she was leaving?
Right.
And they were like, well, she just moved on. She's somewhere else now. And they wouldn't give a straight answer. It was all of it was just it started to feel very shady.
Yeah.
That nobody was communicating clearly and just terrible things were coming out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then a couple weeks later, I received a message from that teacher on Instagram. And that's when everything else just got set off.
Right.
Okay, Kris, what were the very first indications that something wasn't right?
Well, all along through the time he was there, a substantial number of times that you would pick him up with, great consistency, there was incident reports. Ezra fell. Ezra got hurt. Ezra, these kids got into a fight. Ezra has a bruise here, a mark here, a cut on his face here. Like, it was just so consistent that I literally went to one of the teachers and was like, the other parents fill this out as often. Like, I don't understand how this happens so much. Like,
yeah.
And again, there's never any straight answers. There was just, like, oh, we're sorry, we're watching him. He's a very active little boy. And you're like, okay.
Which can sometimes, sorry to interrupt, which can sometimes be the case, right? I mean,
right.
Like, I had two sons. I've run a day home for a long time, so I know boys can definitely be very active and clumsy, and they do things that cause bruises and stuff like that. But I mean, there are limits to that, right?
That's the thing. It's so subsequently, like following this place, it took us a long time to find somewhere else, safe where we felt was safe. And I mean, there were still times that, you'd go to pick him up and they're like, hey, Ezra wiped out. He's got a scrape on his leg or, whatever.
Yeah.
But the frequency that they happened was so much less, maybe once every few weeks or a month instead of 2 or 3 times a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're just like, there's just this glaring delta where you're like, wow, the times here versus here are significant.
Yeah. I mean, I've got little boys that they fall every day, but they don't bruise or get scrapes every time they fall,
No.
right? So
And
there's,
I mean, even the place, Hezra's in a great day home right now. Like, you know, she's lovely. And she's like, yeah, Ezra face planted off the couch today. I told him not to jump off the couch. And she's like, I looked up, you know, and you're like, yeah, I've seen him do it.
exactly.
But the frequency is really the thing that's alarming. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the extent of the injury that's frequently happened.
Yeah.
Right. That's the key, I think, too, right? Like when it comes to like, when they just naturally fall, they don't always bruise or get a scrape, right? So if it is bruise worthy or scrape worthy, it's a bigger fall than just when they're running on the grass and they fall over.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're low to the ground, so they don't, you know, it's not as much. So if it is constantly a new bruise, a new scrape, then it's worrisome because either something more is going on or the equipment isn't maybe the best to have there, or the material that's in the outside play area maybe isn't working that great. If they're constantly scraped up and bruised, you've got to look at other things for sure.
Yeah. So, and I mean, the first time that it was very alarming is, so Candace picked him up again. This is going back to December of 2023. And so Candace picked him up and he was really upset and crying and saying that he was asking her why a teacher was mad at him, like so mad at him, and why she was being mean.
Oh.
And so Candace is like, what happened? And he was like, I mean, at this point he was 3. And yeah, it's true. And so his communication skills were not, you know, the most coherent all of the time. You were
right.
And he was indicating that like the teacher dragged him by the arm. It was Mark. And so Candace was like, what? And he was like, you know, explaining this and trying to communicate to her. So Candace phones me and, you know, she's very reactive and very, you know, passionate about her kid. And she was livid. And I'm like, going at, like, okay. So she went in and the director wasn't there. There was just the room of teachers, and the teachers were like, oh my, no, like that would never happen. And there were communication challenges there with most of the staff. But she really kind of felt like she was blown off. And so the next day I went in and I confronted the director and I was like, I need to know what happened.
Yeah.
And this is what Ezra is saying. And she was like, they told me about this. I've reviewed the video, which I never saw any.
Right.
But she's like, I reviewed the video. There is nothing. We never saw anything. And all of the staff in the room were like, that never happened. We never saw anything like that. And I found it very strange. Like, this is okay. So why would a 3-year-old make this up?
Right.
So I was a little bit confrontational as I can be. And I was like, I need your assurance that if something like this happened, that teacher would be dismissed immediately and we would be notified. And she was like, of course, none of that would ever be tolerated. I'm like, okay. Yeah. She's like, there's nothing to support that. Like everybody has said no, like, of course not. And so again, like this is before the AHS thing. This is, this was kind of the jumping off point to like it feeling just very bad. And so I phoned Candace after and was like, yeah, this is what she said. Like, I don't know what to do. And she, she's like, well, why would Ezra make it up? I'm like, I don't know that he would. I just don't know what happened. Like,
yeah. And I mean, kids can make things up but not like that. Right. Like they make up like innocent stories. Like I've had a kid that has told me that his mom and dad went on a balloon ride.
Oh, no.
So I was like, oh, that's amazing. And I asked the parents and they're like, no, we had some balloons for his birthday. So that's usually the extent of where they're still, like
Ezra's 4.5 stories. Yeah, he's 4.5 now. And I mean, sometimes things happen. You'll drive by something and there'll be something broken. And he'll be like, oh, wow, like that light is broken over there. And you're like, yeah. And he's like, I think maybe bad guys bad guys came and did it. And you're like,
Exactly.
Yeah. And he tells these fantastic stories.
Yeah.
But, why is the teacher mad? And she pulled me across,
It's that is definitely not
Right.
something that's in their, like, developmentally, they can't put that together. Do you know what I mean? They can't bring up the making state like that. I don't know how to word it. It's not coming out.
No, I know what you mean.
Right, but that's beyond their ability to make up.
Right. And I mean, to what, like, he's never been in a situation where lying about something resulted in any specific outcome that would be desirable. So there's no,
Exactly.
It just, yeah. So then, following the infestation, it was about, I don't know, roughly a couple weeks later. I don't really like going through all of it. It's very, so I was going to look up some of the dates and things like that before we did this, but I mean, I can get within, close enough range to not
Exactly
dig through it all. Within a couple of weeks of that town hall, I had picked up Ezra. I was at home. I had to pick somebody up at 6, and about 5:30, I got a message on Instagram from the teacher who had been dismissed, who was no longer Ezra's teacher.
Right.
And she's like, "Hi, Kris. I'm again paraphrasing. It's me, Ezra's teacher. I'm sorry to reach out to you like this. I've been let go, and I can't be complicit in the things that I saw at this facility. And you're one of the easier people to find on social media, because obviously the teachers don't get any parents' contacts."
Right.
And she's like, "I'd like to point you to my Google review that I left on the page outlining the abuses and improprieties that I witnessed while I was there. I've personally seen your son dragged across the floor, et cetera, et cetera. Please take a look and then let me know what you think." So I read her Google review, which outlined egregious behavior.
Right.
Just stuff that you're beyond the pale.
Yeah.
Dragging kids across the floor, poking them, like, if they're not sleeping, like pushing them down by their finger, threatening their toys, threatening to throw out or destroy their toys, locking them away, like separate from everybody else, saying that the director is watching them on the cameras and she'll get them.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know if the Google review is there. I would imagine it's still there. I have the screenshots, but anyways,
so it actually isn't there.
I went back and read all the Google reviews, and they're all gone.
Mine's still there though.
No. There's
I had a parent a few weeks ago who did a tour there, and she said that she saw the Google. Anyways, I'll take a look after this, and I think what I'm going to do is I will post a YouTube video or something after this that you guys can link to, that has all of the stuff, because there's so much.
Yeah.
But her Google review outlined that this is the stuff that she witnessed, and so she reported witnessing the abuse to the director 3 different times, and that on the 3rd time she was essentially sequestered to the infant room, because again, this place has 148 capacity of 148 kids. I don't know what their current capacity was at this time, but they were allowed to have up to 148, including infants.
Yeah.
And she was put into the infant room and instructed, "Don't talk to parents, and we're going to talk to you after this." And then they went in and they fired her.
That's fucking terrible. That's
So she made a anonymous tip to Alberta Daycare Licensing, and then reached out to me. So I saw this and just was shaking.
Yeah.
So as of that moment, I reached out to Candace, explained what was happening, sent her the link. You're kind of in this assessment period where everything is just moving very quickly, and you're, even though it's not, everything just feels like it's, and you're trying to figure out what the next step is and what does this mean. And it was very frustrating. And So obviously he never went back as of that moment. That was the line in the sand. And I canceled work. Candace canceled work. Like, his sister, like there was just anyone who could. It was all hands on deck. We got to figure out what to do now.
Yeah.
And so she had him the next day. And I phoned everybody that I could find on Google. There's not really a lot of resources as to should something like this happen, what is the
right.
protocol? Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
So it's a lot of shots, across the bow where you're like, well, I'll try this. So daycare licensing, Luna Foundation. I went to the police station, the police who were absolutely horrible to deal with. I have nothing kind to say about them or the work that they do. I went to the police station and the guy looked at me like I was an insane person. I was like, I need to fill out a report. And he's like, why are you here? I'm like, at the police station?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, you don't come here to do reports. And I'm like, then why are you here? And I used expletives and was just like, why am I like, what is the building for? And he's like, you call non-emergency. Exactly yeah. He's like, you call non-emergency and you just wait for us to come out to you. And he's like, yeah, you don't come here. And I'm like, so is there someone I can speak to? He's like, no. And he's leave and call. So I left. I called non-emergency. They said somebody would be in touch at some point during the day. You're like, okay. I phoned daycare licensing. They were dismissive at best. And so you feel desperate. And so I was like, well, I'm going to drive to the school.
Yeah.
And so I did. And you use a code to get into the door. You walk in through the door. All of the classrooms are papered over the windows. So you can't actually see in when you walk in. That's
weird.
Well, I mean, you're like, well, kids take naps. Maybe it's for light control. Like, I don't really know. Like, I'm not a child care specialist. I don't really. So you walk in, none of the kids can see me, but you can see the director. She sits in an office with a lot of glass windows. It's kind of like a fishbowl in the middle of the entrance, I guess. And she, as soon as she saw me, I had emailed the night before saying I needed a dialogue immediately. They never replied. I don't think she saw it. So when I walked in, she stood up and was like, hi, how can I help you? And I was livid and I was direct and intense, but as calm as I could be. I did point at her and tell her to sit down and we will talk. And I did shut the door with quite a bit of force. I didn't mean to, essentially, but And then I pulled out my phone. She was like, what's this about? And I'm like, kind of quickly described and was like, I pulled out my phone and I hit record. And
so she knew that you were recording her then? Yeah. Okay.
And so in I think it's 10-minute, 53 or 54 second dialogue that I recorded, which I sent to you guys.
Yeah.
She goes from denial to, scoffing at the very idea of this to slowly, transitioning to she was shocked by the allegations and she was so upset by them and she never saw anything like that. And when she kept hearing about it and the text messages were so upsetting that this had happened. And I'm like, how did you start by lying to me? Like, I don't.
Right.
Oh, and to kind of an important part, when the teacher had written the Google review about the abuse allegations, the school's response, which I have screenshots of, it's been wiped off. But the school's response to her allegations were like, we are appalled that you would say that we would abuse the children. That's what you did. That's what you were let go for.
What?
We find it shocking that you would come to us and say that we did the things that you were accused of, and this is why you were let go. So as a parent, as a parent, and I bring this up in the recording, which if you don't have the background on, the school admits that these things happened, but
Right.
there's finger pointing as to who did it.
I
Which again goes back to, why was none of this communicated to the parents?
Exactly.
So if this is a transparent and open facility, should these allegations come forward, regardless of who did it,
yeah,
they should communicate. But it wasn't. So I asked her, and she said that, essentially that I'm like, who did you report it to? You didn't tell us. You didn't tell the parents.
Right.
So who did you tell it to? Because you have to. You have to tell somebody outside of your own organization. Like, who did you notify? Did for licensing?
Yeah.
Like who? And she says Max, the owner of this facility and another facility in Acadia. And,
okay, the realtor guy knows.
The realtor, the Russian.
Like, who cares?
Yeah. I told Max, and Max said he would look into the video and he would. So I made, threats about shutting them down, getting them shut down. I'm going to the police, like I'm going to the news. I had reached out to CTV because they had broke the article about the mouse infestation. At this point, I just wanted them shut down.
Exactly.
Because to me as a parent, there's admission that this stuff happened. The finger pointing is irrelevant. Whether you did it or you did it, there's two different parties saying that it happened.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of who. So and then her admitting that she didn't report it, admitting that she heard the allegations, admitting that to me, I don't understand what further metrics are there in order for a place to be shut down, at this point.
100%. And I mean, the fact that they tried to blame the one person that actually tried to help the kids is total bullshit. And if it was her, she wasn't going to reach out on Instagram to you and tell you what happened. If she had been the one that did it, give me a break.
There's no outcome that benefits her had she done this. Especially if, other people there had all signed off on, it was her. Like, it just, the whole thing is just there's a logic loop there that just breaks down. It just doesn't make sense. You're just like, this story is the one that seems the least plausible.
And it seems like it's just the director trying to save face, right? Like, oh, look, we let her go already, so everything's okay.
As I said in the recording, she's bad at her job. I don't think she's a good person. I stand by that. I don't think she is. I don't think that there's a good organization. I think that Max is a shady business owner who should not be in childcare.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, if you can say where there's smoke, there's fire, but here, there's just flames out in the open, and everybody's, essentially fast forwarding to the investigation, the police are going we can see that there's problems, but
that is complete bullshit. That the police did not, that's your job. Cops, hello.
So the police, the Leah Stenbeg is the cop that came out. She was very, personality wise, everything doesn't really match. Very cold, very, just didn't seem very reactive. And I didn't feel very confident in it. I phoned daycare licensing. Daycare licensing was exceptionally dismissive. And so when I phoned and I said, this is the allegations, this is what I've been informed of, I would like to speak to somebody. I would like to, what do I do? And the lady that I was speaking to was like, sir, we don't take third-party accounts. Why are you calling us?
What?
And I was very, very frustrated. I was like, what do you mean? Who else do you call?
We're calling you because that's your fucking job, lady. Hello.
And she's like, we take first-hand accounts. We don't take third-party accounts. And she's like, so if the teacher witnessed this, you should have the teacher reach out. Have her call us. But because she told you that this happened, we don't take that This, like, I'm sorry, I understand you're emotional. This isn't your fight.
What the hell?
And so I said, well, I just recorded the director admitting that this stuff happened and that she was warned about it. I confronted the director. She said that she knew about it. She said that they didn't do anything about it. Is that more enough of a firsthand account for you?
No kidding.
And she said, you have a recording. And I'm like, I have a recording. I just got it. And like within the last hour. And she said, can you wait on hold for a second? And I'm like, yep. So she answers, comes back to the phone, and she's like, actually, there was a anonymous report already put in about this facility. And if you have a recording, then the one of the lead investigators, Jody, would like to speak to you right away. Can she call you at this number? And I'm like, yes, of course. Like, that's, yes. Yeah, through the subsequent investigation, Jody at first seemed very helpful.
Yeah, when we were listening to the recording, it was just heartbreaking, you know, and like everything that like you were saying and the other person was saying and stuff. And all you can hear is this poor child screaming in the background. It was just, and like screaming like they were in distress. Like it wasn't just a normal, like, oh, I'm hungry, I'm, you know, whatever. It was like a distress scream. I'm going to add the recording for the listeners so that they can hear it.
Yeah, I can send you guys all the screenshots too. I mean, they're plentiful. I mean, it all should be published. I think that people should see. And I mean, I understand CTV and, you know, City and the legal team and, you know, them covering their ass and stuff like that. But I don't care.
Yeah. And honestly, like I looked into, I did some research onto like the legalities of it and stuff, and you were well within your legal rights to take that recording because there's the
one party. Yeah.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
all about that. And I've never said an element of anything that isn't 100% true. There's not one thing that I've said that is not, you know, verbatim as it happened.
Yeah.
And so I mean,
and this is why we can play the recording.
Yeah, totally. I mean, everything that came to me was, you know, I didn't create this.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, I had to cover the podcast legal situation. As long as you were in the recording and as long as she knew that she was being recorded, then it's okay for us to play it, basically.
Yep. So yeah, play the recording. I'll send you guys all the screenshots to the Google reviews. I'll probably throw a new one up for Max, so he has that to look forward to. Yeah.
I mean,
it's crazy how all the Google reviews have been removed. There's only 2 negative ones on there.
Yeah. Like, I mean, they shouldn't be allowed to remove it, right? Like, that's...
I mean, yeah.
Parents have a right to know.
I do feel parents have a right to know. I do feel that a Google review, that's great, but I really feel like a place like this should just not operate. You know, it shouldn't be on the onus of parents upkeeping Google reviews to make sure that people are aware of this.
Exactly.
It's obscene.
Yeah. Here we're going to play the recording that Kris took at Sunvalley. So this is Kris and Kasum Makar.
Your guys' Google review indicted yourself. When you say that there was abusive on one side, even if it was Nina, you never notified parents. This school is so shady. You guys cover up everything. This is twice in a month. I've gone to the news. I'm filing a police report. Luna is involved. And I've called... Luna deals with abusive situations within schools.
Okay. I was listening.
Yeah, of course you wouldn't.
Okay.
This is only your position as director. Of course you wouldn't know.
May I know, when did you send me the email?
I messaged you last night at 6:50 p.m. I'm not here to verify my email. I have my time-stamped email sent. I want to see the reports.
Give me a second. Let me just see. You are asking me something. I'm going to give you the reports. But listen to me. Did you send me the email? You said that I did not message you. You said that I did not reply to your email.
I'm aware.
Did you send me the message?
Yes, I said I want an immediate meeting with both you and the owner.
But I did not see any message.
I don't care about the
did you-
message.
No, this
You're
thing is-
you're looking at the trees through the woods. I'm telling you right now, I don't care about the email. I want to see the reports.
I'm going to show you the report, but the thing is, this is not the nice way you're talking to me. Now listen to me.
If the allegations are true,
Yes.
okay, I don't have to talk to you nicely. I don't have to be polite. I don't
No,
have
no,
to
no,
be cordial.
No.
My next step from here is to the police department. Okay. So I want to see the reports right now. Not in 5 minutes, not in 10 minutes, not after
Which
you've talked to
reports you
Mac.
want to see?
I want to see the written reports regarding which teachers were reprimanded or warned regarding abusive and threatening and bullying behavior. I want to see if there's any against Saima. I want to see if there's any against Nina. I want to know exactly who was reprimanded, and then I want to know if there's abusive behavior. Kids were dragged, kids were threatened, kids were told that you're watching on cameras. Kids are told that their toys are going to be broken or thrown out, etc., 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 etc. The entire list of things that I have. I want to know why parents were not notified. In the same regard, I want to know why parents weren't notified about the mouse and cockroach infestation. Why are you guys so secretive and so good at hiding everything?
Okay, now let me just talk to you nicely, because the thing is, you are putting those many allegations on me. I want to let you know that the things are already reported. When the teachers are making, honestly telling you, Nina did not tell me anything about the children. She was always complaining me about Saima. Fine. And I do have those. You can see that I can show you the proof of that she was always talking about Saima. She was never talking about any child to me. She was talking about the children. I am having those many children. I am not going to take care of these many. Like, there were the things like that going in the room, but she never said me anything. Secondly, there was a dispute between Saima and Nina, but they both were called at the same time. And this is what I'm saying. So I went in the room whenever there was an argument going on between both of them. They both were arguing.
With profanity in front of the kids.
What kinds of thing? Like
Bad language, curse words, swear words.
No. This is what is happening in absence of mine. In presence of mine, I was making all of them 4 sit together, because the 4 teachers were working in the room, Nina and other 3 teachers. The 3 teachers are here only. So I was making them sit and let me know what is the problem. Because if you are having an argumentation in the room, I should know what is the reason for that argument. And then I was making them sit on the table. If you believe me, then okay. If you don't believe me, then also I cannot help, because the things have happened and the ladies will speak out by themselves. I was making them sit. What was happening was, she was bringing something in front of other 3, which is totally fine to me, because I am not going to sit all the time in the room. But the other allegation was coming from Saima. She was attacking in sense the words. Fine. There was a word fight, I should say. And then I have to say, okay, stop. I'm going to talk to you later. Stop this right now, because I don't want that you should be fighting like cats in front of me. You can ask them if I am wrong. And I was about, like, they were...
So in the Google review, Nina says that there's abusive behavior going on. And that there's threatening, bullying, kids are being grabbed, etc., etc., etc. And the response from your organization is, that wasn't her, that was you that did that. So how come we weren't notified? That's why Nina was leaving. How come we weren't notified that there was this behavior ongoing? That doesn't make any sense. Regardless, I don't really care about the semantics. I don't care who said what. I don't care that you sat here kind of refereeing or mediating an altercation between the two. If that was the treatment going on with the kids that we have, you got to understand, this is my son. This is my son. This is my kid. I don't really care about your career. I could give 2 shits about hers. I will tear this place down if I find out my kid was in an environment like that. Right now, I have every reason to believe he was. So I don't care about the refereeing. I just want to see the reports. Where are the written reports where you notified Child Daycare Service Licensing Board, somebody, that this behavior was going on? Because your Google review says that you knew it was, but Nina, it was you who was treating the kids like this. Where was that reported? Why weren't parents notified? Do you not see how bad it looks on you guys?
Yes.
So I don't care about the refereeing. I don't think you're a good person. I don't think you're a good person at all. I think you covered up that my son was eating around mouse shit. I think that this place is shady. I want to see the reports, first and foremost. Everything else you said is a moot point. I am going to the police after. I have screenshots of reports of my son being dragged across that floor, okay? So, everything else you say, I don't care. I don't think you're good at your job. I don't think that you're doing your job. I want to see the reports. Pull them out of whatever filing cabinet they're in. Show me them.
Okay. Now see.
Stop talking. Show me the reports. Everything else you say, I don't care. I want to see where it was reported and what was written down.
Okay. But the things you are saying, listen to me now. The things you are saying.
Man, I'm going to the police. Okay, you have 5 minutes to show me these reports. This has to be documented. Your job dictates that if abuses are reported, that it is noted, it is written down, and it is submitted to a higher body than you. Show me those reports.
You are talking about which report? I don't understand. Report about child abuse?
About the bullying that was happening with the kids.
Honestly telling you, this is what I'm saying to you. That things are not in my notice. They were talking about that shit in front of me, and I was like, what you guys are talking about? Fine. And then she was the one who was saying that.
Okay, so that's great. Perfect. Okay, they were talking about abuses that were happening in front of you, and you were like, what are you guys talking about? Where's the investigation and follow-up from there?
Yes. So now I'd like you know. So what happened? When it happened, I was watching them in the room. They were very nice in front of me. Whenever I was watching them, they were very nice in front of me. Very nice. You won't see them fighting in front of me. She was the one who was texting me on the weekends. On Friday evening, she is texting me about something. When I am the whole day in the center, why she's not letting me know that time? I am all the time in the center and just a door away from the room. Why she is not talking to me that time? I was so stressed that time because the things were not coming in front of me.
So if she texted you, what did you do?
She was texting me about her Saima's behavior only.
Then what did you do?
So I was talking to Saima and her.
And then you fired her.
No, the things for firing her were like she was.
So what did you do to investigate Saima?
So I was making the observations in the room. Fine. When I was in the room.
Did you talk to any of the teachers?
The two other ladies were there in the room.
Did you talk to them and
yes.
corroborate? Did you ask? Have
yes.
you seen this?
Exactly.
And what did they say?
They said they don't know. They did not see that. And listen.
So who did you report it to beyond yourself?
So I have to let Max know this because.
Okay, then what did Max do?
So he was the one who was going with the investigation, like checking this camera thing and all those stuff. He was the one who was.
So you guys are a self-governing school where you determine within your own hierarchy if there's a problem or not, which is, with your track record, comical. Because you also convinced everybody this was a great place for kids while there was mouse shit and cockroaches everywhere for over a year. So you'll have to forgive me if I don't have a lot of faith in Max to make a decision. Who did Max report to? If it's nobody, I will have you guys shut down immediately. I have screenshots of very specific conversations about what happened in that room. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to the police. I've already contacted CTV News. CTV News is thoroughly interested. I want to know, to save your own ass, where's the paperwork you submitted? Show me something that you written. Show me a Post-it note. Show me something.
Okay, let me talk to.
I don't want to hear talking.
Okay, let me talk to Max first.
No. Show me the report.
No, this is what I have to show. I will show you the report, but I have to talk to Max as well. You know, this is not going to be like I can just show you the things as such. And
we've reached out to other parents.
Yes.
Okay, I am making sure everyone knows about this. Mm-hmm. I will not rest until these doors are closed. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right. Police will be in touch.
How does that make you feel when you listen back to the recording?
Oh, it's like, I mean, it makes you just vibrate with, frustration and anger.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, we are out of time for this episode, so we will continue our chat with Kris next week.
That's it for Day Home Divas this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Day Home Divas, on TikTok at dayhome.divas, and join our Facebook group, Day Home Divas.
Hope you join us again next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.